This one, I think this is not working.
No, wait.
This one work? Ah. I think we should start here when we show the time. All good? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى آله الأطيبين الأطهرين. So we're going to start the program for the happy occasion of our beloved Prophet Muhammad Mustafa. Please send a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And the birthday of our sixth Imam, Imam Jaffar Sadiq alayhi salam. So we're going to start the program with the Quran recitation with the brother Nasir, and then we have the Urdu Nasheed, brother Ali Zaidi, and then we have the Farsi Nasheed, brother Atai here. So we have Arabic Nasheed, brother Sayyid Ahmed, and then the English Nasheed, we have Ahmed Rashid from Sydney, and lecture, the Sheikh is here, brother Hamid Waqar from Sydney. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. So at the end we have the Kahoot by brother Ali Raza, and we have the raffle at the end. So we have lots of activity outside, but may I ask the parents, please bring the children inside. If you have any children outside, may I ask to bring the children inside so they can benefit from the program. Please send a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين صدق الله العلي العظيم اللهم صل وسلم وزد وبارك على رسول الله وآله الأطهار على رسول الله وآله الأطهار صلوات
Hamid وأجل فرش. MashaAllah, brother Nasir, with the beautiful Quran recitation. And tonight is the night of salawat, and there is lots of benefit in the salawat. And from the Holy Prophet, told to the Imam Ali alayhi salam that whoever sends salawat, it is become wajib on me to do shafa'at on the day of judgment. Please send a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So the time is for the Urdu Nasheed. May I ask the brother Ali Zaidi to come to the stage? Salam.
First of all, I would like to congratulate everybody here on this auspicious occasion. Please recite aloud salawat. I'll be reciting a naat in Urdu that's written by Agha Sarosh. He is a very famous Indian poet. Please recite aloud salawat. Ya Muhammad, Ya Muhammad, Ya Muhammad, ऐसी इज्जत आपने पाई के बस या मोहम्मद या محمد کی شب اسرا خدا نے وہ پذیرائی کہ بس یا محمد یا محمد گنتے گنتے تھک گئی تاروں کی نازک انگلیاں گنتے گنتے تھک گئی تاروں کی نازک انگلیاں مصطفیٰ کے ہیں زمین پر اپنے شیدائی کے بس یا محمد یا محمد ایک پل میں مصطفیٰ کو عرش پر بلوا لیا ایک پل میں مصطفیٰ کو عرش پر بلوا لیا اپنے بندے کی خدا کو ایسی یاد آئی کہ بس یا محمد یا محمد اور میں نے جلتی دھوپ میں جب چھیڑ دی نعت رسول میں نے جلتی دھوپ میں جب چھیڑ دی نعت رسول رحمتوں کی ہر طرف ایسی گھٹا چھائی کہ بس یا محمد یا محمد اور اس شعر کا آپ سب لطف لیں گے ایک دن میں لکھنے بیٹھا تھا شب ہجرت کا حال ایک دن میں لکھنے بیٹھا تھا شب ہجرت کا حال کیا کہوں یارو مجھے بھی ایسی نیند آئی کہ بس یا محمد یا محمد اور آخری شعر ان فرشتوں نے ابھی پوچھا ہی کیا تھا ایسا روش ان فرشتوں نے ابھی پوچھا ہی کیا تھا ایسا روش دفعتاً میرے سرہانے سے صدا آئی کہ بس یا محمد یا محمد ایسی عزت آپ نے پائی کہ بس یا محمد یا محمد برائے خوشودی پنجدن پاک بابا بلندر صلوات
محمد وآل Muhammad وعجل. Please send the second salawat louder. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad وآل Muhammad. MashaAllah, beautiful Nasheed, Urdu Nasheed recitation. And may I ask the brother Atai to benefit from the Farsi nasheed, please send a loud salawat.
ادین سال شادی روی همه اموات، سلامتی و تعجیل در فرج آقامان امام زمان. یک صلواتی عیدی پسند بفرستید. اللهم صل علی محمد آل محمد. خب بندم به نوبه خودم ولادت با سعادت پیامبر اولوالعزم حضرت خاتم الانبیاء محمد مصطفی صلی علی محمد آله و فرزندش امام صادق علیه السلام بنیانگذار مکتب تشیع را خدمت تمامی شما بزرگواران هم از برادران و خواهران تبریک و تهنیت عرض میکنم. باشد که انشاءالله عیدی همه من و شما سلامتی و تعجیل در فرج آقامان امام زمان. اجماعاً صلوات بفرستید. اللهم صل علی محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. یا رب العالمین. اللهم کل ولیک حجت ابن الحسن صلواتک کیایی میخوان فی هذه الساعة و فی کل ولیا و حافظا و قائدا و ناصرا ودني حتى تسكنه أرضك وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك ای احمدیان به نام احمد صلوات. محمد هر دم به 1000 ساعت از دم صلوات. ماشاءالله. از نور محمدی دلم مسرور است. پیوسته بگو تو بر محمد صلوات. محمد گل برافشانید که احمد آمد. گل برافشانید که احمد آمد. عید میلاد محمد آمد. آمنه محو جمالش مکه مبعوث جلالش. صلوات صلوات به محمد و به آلش. ماشاءالله. یا محمد یا محمد عید میلادت مبارک. یا محمد یا محمد عید میلادت. خجالت مکن. یا محمد یا محمد یا محمد عید میلاد. الله مدد الله مدد الله مدد الله مدد یا رسول الله نظر یا رسول الله نظر. الله مدد الله مدد الله مدد ماشاءالله. یا رسول الله نظر یا رسول الله. یک بار دیگه. الله مدد الله مدد الله مدد یا رسول الله نظر یا رسول الله. ای یاری من ای یاری من ای یاری من ای یاری من ای یار بی زنهار من ای یار بی زنهار من ای اجر تو دل سوز من ای لطف تو غمخوار من. الله مدد الله مدد یا رسول الله. ماشاءالله بگو. الله مدد الله مدد یا رسول. خوش می روی در جامی من خوش می روی در جامی من خوش می روی در جامی من چون می کنی درمانی من چون می کنی درمانی من. ای دین من ایمانی من ای مهر گوهر بار من. الله مدد الله مدد یا رسول الله نظر. الله مدد. آجرکم الله ماشاءالله. داد ای جان من ای جان من سلطان من سلطانی من ای جان من ای جان من سلطان من سلطانی من دریای بی پایانی من بالاتر از پندار من. الله مدد الله مدد یا رسول الله نظر. الله مدد. پوشیده چون جان می روی اندر میانی جانی من سرو خرامانی منی ای رونقی بستانی من سرو خرامانی منی ای رونقی بستانی من. الله مدد الله مدد یا رسول الله. الله مدد الله. مدینه بود شب مثل ماه نورانی شبی که گشت زمان جان غرق نور افشانی شبی که حضرت باقر لبش شکوفا شد نداشت مثل همان شب مدینه دورانی. ناز قدم های آقا رسول الله و ناز قدم های آقا امام جعفر صادق علیه السلام دو تا صلوات بلند بفرستید. الله
صل على محمد و آل محمد. ماشاءالله ماشاءالله. Allah madad ya Rasulallah nazar. Mashallah. As usual, so beautiful. So now the time for the Arabic nasheed. Brother Said Ahmed, may I ask him to come forward? Please say the loud salawat.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. السلام عليكم أيها الحفل الكريم. أهنئكم وأهنئ العالم الإسلامي بهذا الميلاد الأغر ألا وهو ميلاد سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد، فلأجله عطروا أفواهكم بذكر محمد وآل محمد. سير يا ليل الفرح بنغايا مكالين. سير يا ليل الفرح بنغايا مكالينا. خلينا ننسى الحزن أرجوك، خلينا شي يصير لو للفرح بد يوم شي يصير لو للفرح فديوم غنينا لا تظن غنوة الطرب، لا تظن غنوة الطرب والنفس دوينا. تعبير عن الوفا وشوق الذي بينا هالليلة نشعل شمع ونعلق زين بميلاد خير الورى، بميلاد خير الورى المختار هادينا. نبعث تهاني العلي، نبعث تهاني العلي بالشدة يحمينا بحب الصميد. النبي هو وصينا قال اللي يحب حيدر هي والله قال اللي يحب حيدر متمسك بدينه هو يعبر صراط الحشر وكتابه بيمينه واحنا الفخر شيعته وش تسمينا يوم القيامة علي يوم القيامة علي هو اللي ينجينا صلوات جزاك الله خير. I would like everyone to enjoy it. يا فرحة اللي صلي على الهادي محمد نبينا 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 حب اللي يحبونا رغم اللي يعادونا حب اللي يحبونا رغم اللي يعادونا يا فرحة اللي يا فرحة اللي يا فرحة اللي صلي على الهادي محمد نبينا على الهادي محمد نبينا يا فرحة اللي صلي على الهادي محمد نبينا حب اللي يحبونا رغم اللي يعادونا يا فرحة اللي يا فرحة يا فرحة الليلة بجناح الشوق الليلة بجناح الشوق أنا بعثت مكتوبي أنا بعثت مكتوبي هالليلة بجناح الشوق أنا بعثت مكتوبي أول سطر في المكتوب ذوبي يا روحي ذوبي يا روحي ذوبي الليلة بجناح الشوق أنا بعثت مكتوبي أنا بعثت مكتوبي أول سطر بالمكتوب ذوبي يا روحي ذوبي يا روحي ذوبي بارك فضل هذا اليوم بارك فضل هذا اليوم لا شك غفرت ذنوبي لا شك غفرت ذنوبي يوم السعد يوم الخير بيتوجوا محبوبي بيتوجوا محبوبي هالبهجة عندي تبدي تتويج الإمامة فرحتنا مضمونة رغم اللي يعادونا فرحتنا مضمونة رغم اللي يعادونا يا فرحة يا فرحة يا فرحة صلي على الهادي محمد نبينا نحب اللي يحبونا رغم اللي يعادونا يا فرحة اليوم غير الايام يوم الفرح للعترة يوم الفرح للعترة واللي يشترك بالافراح ربك يضاعف اجره ربك يضاعف اجره قاعد تطالع نشبيك وياي جاوب واقرا وياي جاوب واقرا لا تخجل من التصفيق صفقوها الزهرة صفقوها الزهرة هالليلة نسمع نجمع صفقات وهلاهل هلاهل بالفرحة خلونا رغم اللي يعادونا فرحة الليل يا فرحة الليل صلي على الهادي محمد نبينا نحب اللي يحبونا رغم اللي يعادونا يا فرحة الليل الفرحة نحييها اليوم باسم الرسول وآله باسم الرسول وآله الفرحة نحييها اليوم باسم الرسول وآله باسم الرسول وآله والما يحب أهل البيت يطلع صفر أعماله يطلع صفر أعماله واللي يبغض أم الصفوان واللي يبغض أم الصفوان مجنون عوفه بحاله مجنون عوفه بحاله صح المثل لمن قال صح المثل لمن قال لا تعاشر الحيالة لا تعاشر الحيالة ربك لعنهم منهم هادينا منهم تبرأ الزمرة ملعونة رغم اللي يعادونا الزمرة ملعونة رغم اللي يعادونا يا فرحة اللي يا فرحة اللي صلي على الهادي محمد نبينا نحب اللي يحبونا رغم اللي يعادونا يا فرحة اللي يا فرحة اللي نوالي الأنهار نوالي الأنهار رب العرش ويانا رب العرش ويانا نعلن براء بهاليوم نعلن براء بهاليوم من الناصب وأعوانه ناصب وأعوانه إلا الفخر إلا الفوز وأهل الكفر خسرانه وأهل الكفر خسرانه كل النواصب يدرون كل النواصب يدرون شيعة علي الفرحانة شيعة علي فرحانة هالليلة غني وهني وافرح يا الموالي غني ويسمعونا رغم اللي يعادونا غني ويسمعونا رغم اللي يعادونا يا فرحة اللي يا فرحة اللي يا فرحة اللي صلي على الهادي محمد نبينا نحب اللي يحبونا رغم اللي يعادونا يا فرحة اللي يا فرحة اللي يا ربي لعن فرعون واتبعوا آثاره واتبعوا آثاره أول صنم منهم طاح صارت جهنم داره صارت جهنم داره يحلى الغنى بهذا اليوم غني بجميع أطواره غني بجميع أطواره يا قلبي دق على العود واعزف على القيثارة واعزف على القيثارة بضعة نبينا جينا نهني فرحة شيعة ويعرفونا رغم اللي يعادونا شيعة ويعرفونا رغم اللي يعادونا يا فرحة اللي يا فرحة اللي صلوات لوجهك نور يغمر الأرض والسماء لوجهك نور يغمر الأرض والسماء له كل أنوار شموس قد انتمى وروحك معراج العباد لربها تمد إلى باب السماء السماوات سلما وكفاك في ذلك اليتامى أبوة على وجع الأيام تنساب بلسما رأيتك لا أدري أشاهدت خاتما من الرسل يمشي أم ضياء مجسما وطفت بمعناك البهي مفسرا وما ازددت إلا حيرة وتوهما فعذرا إذا قصرت يا أيها الذي لذكرك قد صلى الإله وسلم صلوات
آل محمد وأجل فرج.
أعاده الله علينا وعليكم باليمن واليسر والبركات إن شاء الله.
Ahsan, thank you, Brother Sayyid Ahmed, who brought joy to us for this beautiful night of the Milad of the Holy Prophet and Imam Jaffar Sadiq alayhi salam. So may I ask the brother Zain Abbas, he's 9 years old and he wants to have passion to read some nasheed in Arabic. He's sure. Okay. Ahsan. Please send loud salawat. صل على محمد
طلع البدر علينا من ثنيات الوداع وجب الشكر علينا ما دعا للهداع أيها المبعوث فينا جئت بالأمر المطاع جئت شرفت المدينة مرحبا يا خير داع طلع البدر علينا من ثنيات الوداع وجب الشكر علينا ما دعا للهداع طلع النور المبين نور خير المرسلين نور أمن وسلام نور حق ويقين سقاه الله تعالى رحمة للعالمين فعلى البر شعاع وعلى البحر شعاع طلع البدر علينا من ثنيات الوداع وجب الشكر علينا ما دعا للهداع جاءنا الهادي البشير مطرق العالم الأسير مرشد الساعي إذا ما أخطأ الساعي مسير دينه حق صراع دينه ملك كبير هو في الطول لعين هو في الأخرى متاع طلع البدر علينا من ثنيات الوداع وجب الشكر علينا ما دعا للهداع أيها المبعوث فينا جئت بالأمر المطاع جئت شرف المدينة مرحبا يا خير داع صلوات
وآل Muhammad. MashaAllah, very beautiful in Arabic. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. So now we have the English nasheed by Brother Ahmed Rashid coming from Sydney. And please send a loud salawat so he can come to the stage. Please send, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. This is not the salawat for tonight. And please send a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. What you want?
Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve you. Firstly, I would like to congratulate Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman on the birth of his grandfather, Rasulullah. I ask that tonight, on this night, we can all create like a very nice atmosphere in here for Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman. And this can be done if you help with the jawab, the reply. It'll be a very easy reply. And by clapping, inshallah, salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Muhammad, Muhammad, like a moon you shine. Muhammad, Muhammad, mercy to mankind. Your words are divine and the greatest sign. Mercy to mankind, mercy to mankind. Muhammad, Muhammad, mercy to mankind. Muhammad, Muhammad, mercy to mankind. Your words are divine and the greatest sign. Your words are divine and the greatest sign. Mercy to mankind, mercy to mankind. Oh, the one who ascended to the heavens laying above. Oh, the one who taught us how to pray with honesty and love. Oh, the one who sacrifices possessions for you and me. Oh, the one who paved the way for all of humanity. Your life here, nothing can compare. You endured what we couldn't bear. May Allah reward those who are above. May Allah reward those who are above. Mercy to mankind, mercy to mankind. Muhammad, Muhammad, like a moon you shine. Muhammad, mercy to mankind. Muhammad, Muhammad, like a moon you shine. Muhammad, Muhammad, mercy to mankind. Your words are divine and the greatest sign. Your words are divine and the greatest sign. Mercy to mankind, mercy to mankind. Oh, the one who adored his daughter Fatima the righteous. Oh, the one who taught us how to be faithful and most pious. She was the light of your eyes, attending your injuries. She helped you cope with your pain, exceeding all of her duties. A blessing for eternity. Glad tidings, giving you and me. A blessing for eternity. Glad tidings, giving you and me. Let us all follow what Allah bestowed. Let us all follow what Allah bestowed. Mercy to mankind, mercy to mankind. Muhammad, Muhammad, mercy to mankind. Muhammad, Muhammad, mercy to mankind. Muhammad, Muhammad, like a moon you shine. Muhammad, Mercy to mankind, your words are divine, and the greatest sign. Your words are divine, and the greatest sign. Mercy to mankind, mercy to mankind, challenged by every creation, proven to be a hero, guiding us to salvation, eliminating our sorrow. Oh, the one who's mentioned daily but not really understood. Oh, the one who would be present and correcting if he could. The brightest man in history, the finest example for me, blessing us today. How can we repay? Blessing us today. How can we repay? Mercy to mankind, mercy to mankind. Muhammad, Muhammad, the moon you shine. Muhammad, Muhammad, mercy to mankind. Muhammad, Muhammad, like a moon you shine. Muhammad, mercy to mankind. Let us all remain on your path and stay. Mercy to mankind, mercy to mankind, challenged by every creation, proven to be a hero, guiding us to salvation, eliminating our sorrow. Oh, the one who's mentioned daily but not really understood. Oh, the one who would be present and correcting if he could. The brightest man in history, the finest example for me, blessing us today. How can we repay? Blessing us today. How can we repay? Mercy to mankind, mercy to mankind. Muhammad, Muhammad, like a moon you shine. Muhammad, Muhammad, see to mankind. You also remain in the greatest sign. Your words are divine, and the greatest sign. Mercy to mankind. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Inshallah, now I'll recite one in English and Arabic. I'm pretty sure like 90% of people would know the words, the jawab for this. So inshallah we can all join in. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. My heart is so full of longing, I wish to be close to my beloved. I dream to walk in the streets of Medina and to quench the thirst of my spirit, and by visiting you, O Muhammad. As-salamu alayka ya Rasul Allah. As-salamu ya Habibi ya Nabi Allah. As-salam, you can go louder. Ya Rasul Allah. As-salamu alayka ya Habibi ya Nabi Allah. رقت عيناي شوقا ولطيبة ذرفت عشقا، فأتيت إلى حبيبي فاهدى يا قلب ورفقا. صلوا على محمد السلام. يا نبي الله السلام عليك يا رسول الله حبيبي يا نبي الله. I left all my troubles and worries as I entered your mosque so gently, and as I finally stood there before you, I couldn't stop my tears from falling in your presence, oh Muhammad. I left all my troubles and worries as I entered your mosque so gently, and as I finally stood there before you, couldn't stop my tears from falling in your presence, oh Muhammad. As-salamu alayka ya Rasul Allah. As-salam Habibi ya Nabi Allah. قلب بالحق تعلق وبغار حراء تألق، يبكي يسأل خالقه فأتاه الوحي فأشرف. اقرأ اقرأ يا محمد. قلب بالحق تعلق وبغار حراء تألق، يبكي يسأل خالقه فأتاه الوحي فأشرف. اقرأ اقرأ يا محمد. السلام عليك يا رسول الله. السلام حبيبي يا نبي الله. Oh Taiba, your breath is so blessed. Indeed it brought life back to my spirit. I've left my heart with my beloved, sending blessings on Muhammad. Oh Taiba, your breath is so blessed. Indeed it brought life back to my spirit. I've left my heart with my beloved, sending blessings on Muhammad. As-salamu alayka ya Rasul Allah. As-salam ya Nabi Allah. Ya طيبة جئتك صبا لرسول الله محبا، بالروضة سكنت روحي وجوار الهادي محمد. السلام عليك يا رسول الله. السلام يا حبيبي يا نبي الله. السلام عليك يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا حبيبي يا نبي الله. From amongst all of the prophets, Muhammad was the last, as he was on a mission of the greatest task. There was only more generation, people come to idol adoration. Sallallahu alayka ya Rasul Allah. Sallallahu alayka ya Nabi Allah. Assalamu alayka ya Nabi Allah. For all nations nations he was al-Mukhtar. So was he praised by Allah al-Ghaffar, the bearer of the tidings al-Bashir, leading into light as-Siraj al-Munir. Salawatu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allah Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. MashaAllah, beautiful recitation by Brother Ahmed Rashid from Sydney. May I ask the Brother Husseini to come here a few minutes? No? Okay, now the time for the Sheikh, the Sheikh, Hamid Waqar from Sydney. May I ask to come to the member and we benefit from the tonight from his speech. Please send a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
Thank you. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا أبو القاسم محمد والأهل بيتي الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Alhamdulillah, as always, an honor and a privilege to be here. Haven't been here in many years, but I'm blessed to be here again. Obviously, COVID came and ruined things and made the gap a long time. Inshallah, we'll be here more often. I wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to come here to take part in this program. Inshallah, with the tawfiq from this program, get rewards from Allah. MashaAllah, Sheikh Anayatullah is here. I don't know, with Sheikh Anayatullah, you probably shouldn't have invited me, but I'll be here and give a few words anyways. MashaAllah, Sheikh Anayatullah and me were very close when he was in Qom, and I haven't seen him in a long time, and it's amazing to see you, MashaAllah. All right, also the poems were amazing, right? You guys have amazing reciters here. I don't know how many of them are still here in the room, but the Urdu one, Sayyid Ali Zaidi, was beautiful. Then we had Haj Aghay Atai in Farsi, was amazing as well. Sayyid Ahmed, Haj Ahmed Rashid, and my favorite, the youngster Zain Abbas was great too, mashallah. So I was asked to speak about something to do with mental health, because not only I studied a little bit in Qom and studied a little bit of religion, but also psychology as well. So this was a topic that was asked. And I was wrestling for a while to try to figure out what topic I should talk about. And some people asked me some questions, some of my patients, and also some people in the community. And I thought it's a good topic to touch upon. But it's a little bit of a, I don't want to say a dark topic, but it's a little heavy. So I want us to be prepared for it. And it came up in the last few months, maybe 5 or 6 times for me, right? Where some of the people I have who are patients are suffering from chronic pain, and they have severe back pain, they have severe various types of pain in their body, and it's difficult for them to live. They can't function the way they used to. They can't play with their kids. They can't go to work. There's many things that they struggle with. And sometimes they say, I just want to die. I don't want to live anymore. And then I have people in the community, people who aren't suffering from chronic pain, but they might be suffering from depression. They might be suffering from just the normal hardships of life. And they make comments like that as well, that, why do I have to be here? I wish I could just die and get out of here. Now, we're not talking about self-harm. They're not going to do anything to themselves. They're not going to hurt themselves. But they just have that that thought that I don't want to be in this world anymore. And I thought that's an interesting notion. It's an interesting thing to discuss a little bit, right? Because in Islam, there's a lot of discussion of death, right? We're encouraged to remember death, right? There's a hadith from Imam Ali alayhi salam where he's giving a will to his children, and he says, "Akthar dhikr al-maut," increase your remembrance of death, "Wama ba'd al-maut," and what comes afterwards, right after death. Remember it. We have, if you look through the Tozi Masayos in the books of jurisprudence, it's mustahab to buy a shroud that you would cover your body with. And not only to buy one, but to take it out every Friday and to look at it, right? And to remember death. It's mustahab to go to graveyards, to visit those who have passed away and to pray for them, right? Remembering death is something that's encouraged. Why? Why is it encouraged to remember death? Is it because we want to have our mind focused there and think that this world is terrible? This world, it's temporary. The blessings we'll have in the hereafter, inshallah, would be amazing, right? The more salawats you recite, for instance, for Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, the more blessings we'll have in the next world, right? So shouldn't we desire to leave this world and go there and receive those blessings? Right? So it made me think. It made me ponder upon this topic here. And I wanted to share just a few thoughts I had, inshallah, with another salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. All right. So when we're looking at that question, first in Islam we're encouraged to remember death, definitely. But there's a purpose for it. It's not remembering death in order for us to want to be in the hereafter and not want to live. It's remembering death so we could shape our actions, right? If we remember the punishments of the grave and all of the, very scary things that could happen, maybe that prevents us from committing sins. If we remember all of the rewards and the blessings and the pleasures that we could receive in heaven, maybe that will encourage us to do righteous deeds. So remembering death for that purpose, to inshallah help shape our actions, not as an escape from this world, right? Also, a natural human instinct is that we desire immortality. We desire to live long lives, right? I don't know if you guys watch movies or not, but how many movies have this magical cup of water that if you drink it, you live forever, right? And people are off searching for this magical spring that obviously doesn't exist. But this notion that we want to live a long life or forever is something that is found across nations, across people, all over the world, right? Throughout every century, people have, shown that they want to live long lives. And if you don't say it, if you're not prepared to say it with your mouth, right? We could see it in our actions. We eat healthy, we exercise, we try to do things that will prolong our life. We don't intentionally live lives that would end up in unhealthy and disease and dying early, right? We try to live longer. So it seems like this natural instinct is to live longer. But do we have anything in the words of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam that would support that? And we do. So there's one tradition that we find in Sahifa Sajjadiyah from Imam Sajjad alayhi salam. And in this tradition, the Imam says, let me live, allow me to live as long as my life is a gift in obedience to you. Right? So obviously there's a condition there, but the Imam is asking, let me live. Let me continue my life, obviously if I'm on the right path. Right? So we have that in the words of Ahlul Bayt as well. Now, what about this world though? Right? Because in this world, we do suffer hardship. There's no one in this room that could say my life from the day I was born till now has always been perfect. Everyone has hardship, different amounts of hardship, different types of hardship. But everyone has things that they struggle with. Right? The nature of this world is that there's going to be hardship. It's not going to be nice and pleasurable all the time. It's a temporary abode. People will die. Allah has granted free will, so some people will misuse the free will and hurt other people. Right? There's going to be difficulty. Right? But is that always the way we're supposed to look at this world? I've given lectures before on the world itself. I don't want to take too much time because I don't even know how much time I have to talk, but we'll sit here for a while. But the world, yes, there are many ahadith that discuss the negative nature of the world, but there's also many hadith that discuss the world as a blessing, as a place which we could use to obtain righteous deeds and utilize all the opportunities at our disposal to be able to, inshallah, make it into a pleasant life in the hereafter. Right? So the world's not necessarily rejected. When we have a hadith that describe the world as negative, those ahadith are pointing to the aspects of the world that take us away from God. That which removes us from closeness to Allah. That's negative. But any other parts of the world which allow us to get closer to Allah, it's beautiful. Right? It's amazing. So this world isn't something that we should be trying to escape. It's a world that we should be trying to utilize. And sometimes even the hardships in this world are our opportunities. And it's difficult to hear sometimes when we're in a hardship. It's hard to say, oh, don't worry. It's, just be patient and you'll increase in faith or you'll increase in closeness. But when you take a step back, that really is the case. Right? There's a hadith that I forgot the exact Imam, inshallah. I'll remember and remind you guys. But there's a hadith that states that if you know the recompense of one who's sick in this world, what he would get in the next, you would pray night and day for sickness. You'd pray night and day for hardship. Right? And recompense is different than reward. So in the hereafter, if you perform righteous deeds, you get rewarded. Clear. But if you have some kind of hardship, some kind of difficulty, some kind of disease, some kind of ailment that other people don't have, right? And you struggle because of that, Allah is the most just. Allah is the most merciful. In the hereafter, He's going to make up for that. And that's what we call recompense. So that recompense, right? Those of us who don't have that hardship, who don't have that difficulty, when we see what they get in the next world, we would be wishing that we went through that in this world. Right? So now we know, okay, many points here. Original question, right? Is it okay for us to wish to die and to leave this world because of hardship that we're facing? We said Islam encourages us to think about death, to think about the hereafter. We're encouraged to increase our remembrance of death. In addition to that, we know the world, some aspects are negative, but some are positive. We also have this inclination, this nature that encourages us to live for a long time. So let's look and see what the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam say about asking for death. Is that okay? Right? And there's a few hadith that inshallah we'll refer to here. After a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Alright. So obviously it's the birthday of the Prophet. So inshallah we'll, for the blessings, we'll recite one hadith from the Prophet after another loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So the Prophet, which is one of the things he used to do, is he used to visit the sick. So when people were sick, he would go and visit them. And inshallah, we should try to emulate that. Right? When people in the community are sick and in need, we should definitely open our arms to them, visit them, help them out as much as we can. But the Prophet would always do this. And there was a person, one of his companions, who was sick, and he went to visit him. And this companion was going through extreme hardship. And he mentioned to the Prophet, I wish I could just die. He wasn't going to hurt himself, obviously, but the hardship was too difficult for him to bear, and he was wishing that he could be released from this hardship and die. So how did the Prophet respond to that? Did he say, good, the hereafter is full of blessings, go to the hereafter? Right? No. This is what the Prophet said. He said, La tatamannu al-maut. Don't desire death. Right? This is a person in hardship, facing difficulty. Just told the Prophet, I wish I could die. The Prophet says, don't desire death. فَإِنَّكَ إِن تَكُ مُحْسِنًا تَزْدَدْ إِحْسَانًا. If you're righteous, life will give you the opportunity to increase your righteousness. Right? وَإِن تَكُ مُسِيًا فَتُؤَخِرَ تُسْتَعْتَبْ. And if you're a sinner, then a longer life will delay, right? Delay and give you a chance to gain Allah's satisfaction. It's big, right? فَلَا تَتَمَنُّوا الْمَوْتِ. So don't desire death. Right? So the Prophet was asked this question, and that's how he answered it. Don't desire death. Look at this world. Examine yourself. Look into your heart. If you're a righteous person, inshallah, I know many of you, if not all of you, are way more righteous than I am. But if you're a righteous person in this life, the longer you live, the more opportunity you have to perform more righteous deeds, get closer to Allah, gain more rewards in the hereafter. And if you're a sinner like me, a longer life gives you the opportunity to try to gain that divine satisfaction, to repent, to change your ways, to turn back to God. So this person wasn't asking for a spiritual reason here. He was sick. He was in pain. He wanted to be relieved from his pain and leave this world. But the Prophet said, no. If you live a longer life, you have more opportunity here. That's better for you. Right? So that's important. Inshallah, another salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Another tradition from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says, do not desire death, right? Due to difficulties and hardship. So if that's the reason why you're desiring death, that's not encouraged in religion. Religion says we need to look at life and the world in a different way. But there's exceptions to this. I'm just giving one side of the story here. There's another side. We just finished Muharram. I know we're not going to have a majlis right now, but we just finished Muharram. And I know in Muharram, you go over the story. You remember the nephew of Imam Hussein, Qasim ibn Hassan. Right? He desired death. He was asking his uncle for the opportunity to die. His uncle even asked him, what do you think of death? What did he say? Sweeter than honey. Ahla min al-asal. Right? So this seems to be contradictory now. Right? So one of the exceptions is definitely seeking shahada, martyrdom. Right? In that sense, we have plenty of traditions, plenty of accounts in our faith where people actively wanted martyrdom. Many of the imams have made du'as for that, if not all of them. Right? We also Please recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Yeah, we also have du'as that say, if our life will be full of sin, remove me from this life. Right? So the same du'a that we mentioned from Sahifa Sajjadiyah, where Imam Sajjad alayhi salam was asking for a longer life, and with that longer life to be given as a gift in ta'ah, in obedience to God. He continues and he says, but if my life should become a pasture for shaitan, seize me yourself before your hatred of me increases. Because if we commit so many sins, God forbid, Allah will start to dislike us, or at least our actions, and we don't want that. Right? So the Imam we have two exceptions, martyrdom, and if we're going to lead a sinful life and the continuation of our life will just increase in sin and sin and sin, then we don't want that. Right? Okay. So how can we make a conclusion here? So the conclusion that I would take is that obviously, on one side, if we're seeking to be removed from this world due to hardship, that's wrong. Right? That doesn't seem like that's supported in Islamic teachings. If the reason why we want to die is because we're experiencing pain, because we're experiencing disease, because we're experiencing whatever type of hardship in this world that we might be experiencing, then Islam teaches us forbearance and perseverance. Inshallah, Sheikh and Ayatollah could speak about patience and forbearance later. But that's what Islam encourages. But if we're seeking martyrdom, and martyrdom is closeness to Allah, we know the reward of the martyr is closeness to God, then that's something that's encouraged. If we're trying to protect ourselves from sinning more, and we say it as the Imam said, that only if my life will be full of sin, then remove me from that. Because that's not what I want. But obviously we make dua so that won't happen. Right? In those cases, it's okay. Now, I have some potential critiques to this. Right? I like going back and forth a lot. But I have a few. I'm only going to mention one of them. And inshallah, then we'll go to our Kahoot quiz and you guys could win prizes for that. But we have one of the most beautiful stories in the Quran. Right? A beautiful story. And it's the story of Sayyidah Maryam and the birth of Nabi Isa alayhi salam. Right? In Surah Maryam itself, I'm sure you've all read it. And we know Sayyidah Maryam was one of those who is very close to God. Was one of the most sincere worshippers on earth. So sincere that Allah would send fruit from heaven directly from Jannah to her. And she would eat the fruit of heaven in this world. How amazing is that? I know I can't say I've ever experienced that. I'm pretty sure probably none of us in this room have said. Maybe Sheikh, I don't know. But right? Sayyidah Maryam, amazing. Now, we know that the angel came to her and then she became pregnant with Nabi Isa. What happened? We know the pregnancy progressed very fast according to traditions, and she went out of her hometown into the desert. She went next to a palm tree. She hit the palm tree, right? And she's experiencing the pangs and the difficulty of childbirth. And she's also thinking, obviously, what are people going to think of me? Right? And then, what's it called? Qalat Maryam, I forgot the verse, Allahu Akbar. Yep. Qalat ya laytani mittu qabla hadha wa kunta nasiyan mansiya. Right? So what's she saying there? Sayyidah Maryam said, I wish before this I died and would be completely forgotten. No one would have me even in their memories, right? This seems like it's at odds with what we were talking about. She's saying she wished she was dead. She died before this happened. Because of a hardship. Weren't we just saying that if we're experiencing hardship, we shouldn't be thinking of that? We should have perseverance, patience, forbearance, and all of that. Seems like it's contradictory here. So the ulama have actually looked into this verse from that angle. And they've come up with a few different responses to this critique here. One of them, which is good, says that, wait a second here, this is outside of the scope of our discussion. You're talking about asking Allah for death because of a hardship. Sayyidah Maryam's not asking Allah for death. She says, I wish I was dead before this. I wish. It's different. It's not saying, oh Allah, remove me from this world, send me to the hereafter, I don't want to deal with this hardship right now. She's not saying that. Right? So it's a different discussion here. But you might raise a critique and say, yeah, I get it, it's different, but it still seems like maybe she's, because of the hardship and the difficulty she's going to face, she's trying to, she's kind of rejecting the blessing maybe. Maybe, potentially. That's one way of looking at it. Some ulama say, no, right? It's because of Sayyidah Maryam's chastity that she's saying this. She doesn't, she's worried that people will think she was unchaste, that she committed adultery, auzubillah. And that's why she's giving birth. But that seems like that's a weak response, because that's the hardship there. The hardship's not giving birth to Nabi Isa alayhi salam. The hardship is taking the child to the people and trying to answer where he came from. Right? So it seems like that answer is not correct. The third one is more in line with her level of spirituality. And I like this one. And we'll end with this one. And inshallah, I don't know if they have to get the Kahoot ready or not, but I'm sure they'll work on that right now. But the third one is that Sayyidah Maryam wasn't talking about herself here. Right? She wasn't saying, I wish I was dead and forgotten because I can't bear to face these people and have them criticize me. She has God on her side. She's always been with Allah. Allah has sent fruit down to heaven for her. She's always had this communication with God. People have ridiculed her before. Didn't matter to her. Her relationship with Allah is all that she cared about. So it doesn't make sense that she would be worried that some people think she's an adulteress and that's gonna, that's so hard for her that she wants to die. No. The way that they respond is this. Sayyidah Maryam, think about her life before this instance. She dedicated herself to the mihrab, I don't even know how to say it in English, but to this religious center that she was at, right? It wasn't a synagogue, but the place she was at. She dedicated herself to worshiping God and to being a pillar of guidance for Allah, to guide people towards the truth. And she's worried that if she goes to the people with a child, and people think she's an adulteress, it's going to destroy their faith. And a lot of times, people who have a facade of being religious, when they're found out that they're not religious, it does shake people. I remember in the States, before I went to Qom a long time ago, there was a person who came and he was wearing the clothes of a scholar, but he wasn't a good person. And later we found out he didn't even study religion in the house at all. But this person, he started to give speeches and he started to get a little bit of a following. And then he started to do some really bad things. Right? So really, really horrific things that I'm not even going to mention from the minbar. And when people found out and said, a scholar, someone who wears the religious clothing, doing that, it shook the community. And a number of people actually stopped coming to the centers and kind of took a step back from religion because of that. Now this person's nowhere near what Sayyidah Zahra or Sayyidah Maryam was. Sayyidah Maryam, when people would look at her, they would see, not see the face of God obviously, but they would recognize her high level of spirituality. And she was worried that because of people accusing her of adultery, it might affect the faith of the mu'mineen and the faith of, the society. So that's one way of trying to argue this verse not being a contradiction to what we were saying before. Inshallah, I hope it's not too confusing, going back and forth a lot. But once again, I'm just putting food for thought out there for us to think about, for us to hopefully gain encouragement that when we're facing hardship, we should make du'as for Allah to give us strength, to be able to persevere, to be able to continue our life, to ask Allah to bless us that in this world we're able to take these opportunities to get closer to Him and to get closer to the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, and to really use the life we have in this world. And inshallah, in the future, we could talk about perseverance and forbearance, and inshallah, really understand how we can do that more. So please, once again, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for listening to me so attentively. And please keep me in your prayers and recite aloud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد